What's up, guys? Brendan, Market Makers. Want to make you an urgent Bitcoin video update. Couple reasons. You see a pump happening right now. Is this the market reversal? Guys, the more I look at this, I made that video a few hours ago, released it. I've been studying this for the last hour or so now, looking at some different indicators. This to me still looks super bearish. Okay, I gave you the market criteria for turning around, what a reversal would be at 35.2 on the 4-hour chart, using the 200 and 233, which are down here on the 1 hour, using them as support and not making shapes. That's the important part, right? But what have we been doing over and over again? Let me show you the guppy. I went over this last video, but last night I called a double top that the first hump had formed or was beginning to form. Called it early, right? I said right here, double top forming. We made the candles for it, right? We had the second part of the top at that point, and then we broke it. We broke the neckline, but it retraced, and they reversed it with this candle. I went over that last video, right? But this is important because these are super bearish patterns, okay? And since then, we've had more. Now that more candles have printed, again, we're on the 1 hour. You have your left shoulder, you have your head, and this peak fell because of volume, right? There's nothing to support the price. And now with this new pump that's happening, right, you have your right shoulder forming. So you need to understand this. This is right at that support level of 34.3. So this looked like before, I told you this could just be a broken double top that ends up still dropping, or this is going to come out to be a head and shoulders. Either way, both extremely bearish, okay? That's the important takeaway from the shapes that are being formed. But additionally, let's look at this. Let's zoom in with the Gann fan. I'm going to show you this, what I'm seeing, right? I've been looking at this chart now for the last hour or so. So this grid that we're playing in right here, we have our support level, the hard support level of 34.3. We have a lot of movement for price to move up and down, right? This is going to form your shoulder. Right now it got rejected by the hard resistance, or this soft resistance line actually is rejecting it, right? And then you have your hard resistance above it, and you have multiple resistances above that, and you have declination of volume above this, okay? But beneath you, all you have is soft support. That's all you have on the 1 hour chart is soft support. So this has a lot of room. If you get rejected, right, you can paint this picture. If you get rejected from here, you just get a candle that sits there, maybe hovers on that support line, and you start doing this, right? This is your shoulder. Now you've made that bearish pattern. If you want to throw on a trend line, which is not going to be exact, I'm just doing this really quickly, but for your shoulders, line up your shoulder, right? Put a trend line there. Let me get a color that you can see better, yellow. Okay, so we can throw, assuming how this forms, obviously, right? It's going to matter how it forms to find the neckline. But this is your left shoulder, right? So here's your baseline. So I'm going to use this as a baseline. It may not be exact depending how the shape forms. But once this is cracked, again, whether this is from a double top that's just really sloppy, or it's from this head and shoulders. Let me turn off the Gann fan. I know this is a lot of lines. So whether this ends up being this pattern, double top, that comes down and breaks the neckline, you're still dumping. Whether it ends up being that pattern, head and shoulders, when you come back down here, you're dumping. And again, the target for that dump, I'll show you that again real quick. And again, we don't have the shoulder yet, right? And I know I'm drawing you a bearish pattern as it's pumping. I recognize the irony. But guys, I don't see this as an organic buying experience this weekend. This is multiple whale pumps to get us to where we are, right? So when we look at targets of where you could fall to, you look at your trend line, even if you just grab it from the wick, we don't know which is going to be exact. These are all estimates, right? You grab it from here. Let's say you fall here. I mean, like I said, I think you're landing on 33.4, okay? You're landing on 33.4. You could fall below it. If you have selling pressure, you could go way below it. It just depends how it plays out. I don't see, and you know, when you're in doubt of where you are in a trend, do this. Switch your time frame. Go to your 4 hour, right? That's your 233, there's your 200. We're flirting with the 233. We're using it as support, okay? We can easily fall back below this. The longest we've been above it since April 17th is, I believe, 3 days, and this is the second day. If you use 24-hour time periods, this is the second day, right? But turn on your guppy. This is a great indicator to look at trend because it's an EMA band with color, right? Zoom out. Let's look exactly where we are in relation to the bigger picture, right? Zoom out, get to your high. There's your swing pattern failure at 41. Guys, this is looking, and I'll show you what I'm seeing here in a second, right? There's your big downtrend May 12th. There's your swing pattern failure. There's your peak from the swing pattern failure between a 200 and a 233. And again, from that 11,500 point dump. What is this looking like to you? This is looking like a bigger and bigger bull trap, okay? Let me turn off the square 9. This looks very similar to this. So you have that pattern failure. This looks like the same thing. This looks like another pattern failure. You have a dip. Look at this. I mean, you have your dip down, your buy back up, your parabolic rise up, right? Get some momentum, consolidate, boom, whale needles to get up here. We went over this in a couple videos ago. And then you fail and you dump 11,500 points. What do you have here? You have a failure here. You have your dip. You have your consolidation down here, your whale needles to get back up. And I know I'm zoomed out, but I showed you this a couple videos ago. And then you have this. This is going to be a pattern failure. This is what I'm seeing play out. We had this here. This is a lower pattern failure. And I mean, you can even see the dissension, right? I mean, you don't need to draw a trend line, but you can clearly see this is a lower high, right? This is a pattern failure that's developing outside of our triangle. And this looks to me like it's going to fall apart. And that's why I wanted to make you this urgent video. I'm seeing a pattern develop. This again is a pattern failure out of trend, and when you zoom in, just like we had on that 41K needle, you zoom in, that's going to be your failure right there. That will be your failure, these two candles, right? This candle here is probably not going to print as high as these, and you're just going to start to see the failure. You're going to start to see the pattern fall apart. And because of, look, just let me show you this again. The 41K, let me show you why we got such a steep fall. Right? Let's bring this to the center. When you rise up via whale needles, via market manipulation from hedge funds, from large institutional investors, or large single investors, which is how we got here in this price, right? Look at these needles, right? Look at these needles. We got up here by climbing with large needles. What happens on the dissension? You fall down. You're going to reclaim all of this, right? Kind of like how the Bart Simpson pattern, how you reclaim candles. We went over this yesterday in the video. But you see it down here. Bart Simpson, you fell, you cut the flat top, Bart Simpson back up, right? And now you got back up here with these needles. So you're going to reclaim all of this area, in my opinion. This big candle, you're going to come back down from it. That's going to put you back at maybe this cluster, if you're lucky, which is 32K. And realistically, you could easily end up at 30 or back down here at 29.7. Okay, so when you make this shape and you break it, because remember, you have to actually break the neckline to have that drop. Just making the shape is half the battle. The other half is the actual drop. But this is going to look, when you look back on this a week from now, a few days from now, you're going to look back and you're going to see this. It's the same thing that's happening. You have a dip, you have consolidation, you have a parabolic pump, and then you have a pattern failure. You have a dip, you have consolidation, you have a parabolic pump, you're going to have a pattern failure. And this is going to be the same trend, just kind of like what we talked about in the market top video. The fact that we are above the 200 and 233 right now, we've gotten above it many times. That's not the key, right? Here we didn't get above the 233, but we were above the 200. We haven't been able to hold it. That's the whole point. That was the whole point of the market top video. That was the whole point of the 200 moving average video, is that you can get above it. You just can't hold it. And what I see happening now is a pattern failure. And you're going to fall down. You're out of pattern. You're out of trend. And you're going to fall back down and begin your dissension again. Wanted to make that video for you. We'll see if I'm right or wrong. You know, I nailed that double top. The problem is, if you say, but Brendan, we're so close to that 35.2. And you said it's a market reversal if we get above 35.2 and we use the 200 and 233. I did say that. But I also said the most important caveat is you cannot make shapes. You have to have organic buying. If you're making shapes, it's because you're rolling over with volume. You're rolling over. You're getting peaks and then you're petering off. Okay, which is telltale sign of whale pumps, whale needles, okay? And that's what's happening. You made a double top last night. We called it early, nailed that call. You didn't break the neckline. They reversed it, and now you're making a head and shoulders. So what that tells me is the whales are still manipulating at the moment. It's going to peter off. It's going to fall, and this is going to fall apart. I don't think you're going up from here, okay? If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. My next video, I'll be like, hey, guys, I was way wrong. But so far, I've been nailing these calls, okay? So let's look and see what happens, but this looks like it's falling apart to me. When will it fall apart? It could be today. It could be tomorrow. It could be the next day. The point is, you have to look at the trend, look at the action, and look at the shapes that are being made. And right now, you're making a very dangerous head and shoulders pattern that can give you quite a fall to at least back to 33.4, possibly below. And that's gonna totally invalidate this uptrend and this overall massive downtrend that you're in. Okay, this is going to look like this, which will look like that. Okay, you're going to have a pattern failure out of pattern with the trend, and you're going to fall down from it. That's what I'm seeing, guys, in the price action. I know that sounds super bearish. I'm just telling you the data as it presents itself. If this reverses and goes strong bullish, and I see indicators and I see patterns that make me think, hey, this is legit, this is organic, I will be the first one to scream it to you. Okay, check out our Discord if you're not there. It's free all week, guys. Come check it out. Come see the new people. Come meet a great community. We have commodities TA there. We have Forex TA coming soon. We have our trade signals there, including the trade signals from last night. If you took them on the alts, you would have made some money. If you waited for Bitcoin, it depends where you bought it at. But guys, this is the place to be. Our Discord group. It's a great community. I hope you come check it out. Take advantage of the free offer. We've never done this before, and we're just looking to expand our reach. So take advantage of it, guys. Watch Bitcoin. Talk to you guys soon.